The mountain of Sukwan Buru is located 64 kilometers east of Ranchi city in the hinterland of the Mundas. The countryside is rich with the natural bliss, and you just get immersed in the lap of nature, mesmerized and lost in love. The tribals believe in the coexistence with nature. The natural entities are revered as an integral part of their life. In many of the folk tales and folk songs, we get to see how these natural entities are so deeply intertwined in the tribal ideologies and the indigenous knowledge system. The bedtime stories tell you how the trees, the rivers, the streams, the mountains, the moon and the sun and the animals are a natural part of the story. The Sukwan Buru is a very typical example where we can see how the tribal way of life coexist with the nature, and there is a symbiotic relationship between tribals and these entities. The Mundas connect with the nature beautifully, be it the rivers, the trees, the birds, the animals, the mountains, the sun or the moon. These all find a very respectable place in their cosmology and worldview. Each entity has a significance, and more importantly, they are scientifically correlated. The Mundas worship the mountain god and use the term Buru to denote it. The science behind considering the mountain as equivalent to God or a supernatural power is very interesting. The age-old indigenous knowledge system contains the idea that the mountains play a very important role in bringing in rains. The high mountains and hills elevate the winds that carry moisture. This is essential for the winds to rise up in the air and for the clouds to be formed. The clouds will then bring in rains, and the ample rains will foster bountiful growth of the nature and agriculture. The rains will ensure the existence of all. While speaking to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee University, he narrates a very beautiful idea.
अंग्रेजी ते को मैंने सुपर नेचुरल पावर ओडो को मैंने अबुआ मुंडा समाज रे हड़न समाज रे बोरू बोंगा रेया पूरा आगे गनोंगन जगार को मेनागा.
The concept of nature in the tribal way of life is exemplary. Only the greed of the outsiders have altered this relationship with force. This is evident in the tale of the mountain god Sukwan Buru, which is located 18 kilometers east of Khunti district headquarters. This area is surrounded by lush green forest and rich Munda traditions. The Sukwan Buru, or the Holy Mountain, is located at the conjunction of three villages, Dulmi, Totada and Sukwandi. Sukwan is a Mundari word which means close to your heart or something which you love. According to Dr. Meenakshi Munda, she shares that this was a sacred space where the Mundas worshipped the Purubonga, and this was a space of solidarity where thousands flock together every year. While speaking to the Pahans of the village, or the sacred specialist who offered prayers and reverence to the Buru Bonga.
Bonga Buru do maja pe bonga Buru kide.
Bonga do mo sidya te chilkele bonga utne hanam ko nita chimtu hanam ko tai kena bir buru tai kena imtu ate ko bonga kena chi jal kate kule ko ate bing ko ate haldo to mente kaji janchi ko bonga kida ar inatele banchao janchi inate kota re abu jamana na adu banchao jana mene aye janchi jaman town ni tata Sukwan Buru rubu jamana ko men kida inate neta.
Professor S.N. Munda, the Honorable Vice Chancellor adds on.
Ar Jason Sukwan Buru venea, Sukwan Buru do mane apan supkute ende mane dangada dangadi ko man ko ardi tamta ikna inagi inare mul maksad do ar ena Buru hiju sida ende मान लिया गपा बुरु है के द एन मोसिंग सीधा बुरु चेतान रे सेंगल को जुलिया आ नाते अंते को ढोले मन को साडिया आर को ले इनरे मतलब तो नहीं आगे ची बुरु तिसिंग होबावा मार जतो बुरु लेल बुहिजुगा गपातरे बुरु तना इनगे मेन मकसद.
Professor Munda says the young boys and girls used to visit this sacred space on the day of fair and celebration. This is the occasion where one expresses their feeling of love to one another, and this is why the term Sukwan came into existence. After the morning prayers and offerings by the Pahans of 3 villages, the entire mountain witnesses the swarming of local population in the late afternoon with much vigor, dances and songs. According to the traditional folk tale, the person who climbs the hilltop will be blessed and rejuvenated with youthhood. This holds true to the psychological aspects. The mountain is almost 500 feet high and it takes immense strength to reach the top. A person making it to the hilltop signifies to be in a good health. Let's not forget the Dombari Buru, the witness of the great Munda revolt under the leadership of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Padma Shri Dr. Ramdal Munda dedicated a song to the Dombari Buru, Bonga of Ulihatu.
Dombari Buru cita nere no ko edu mangru tana ko susu netana no ko edu mangru tana ko susu netana.
The encroachments in the tribal areas for natural resources is a very common feature, and in continuity, the Sukwan Buru was also tried to snatch by the government for the so-called developmental initiatives in 1982.
Sidate manating taikenchi ale soben neta garami ren ko haturen ko le japagar jina ila abu bonga buru taure सरकार बोलो जिदा अन्य को बाई जिदा अन्यता अबु बोगा बुरुटाव किसने सरकार मैंने ले काजी के चिरो ले जमान जिना टोटा दा चंचल ये टोटा दा और सुगंधी अदुलमी को
A watchtower was planned to be erected in the hilltop of Sukwan Buru. The area witnessed a huge uproar and protest. There were many who were arrested and cases were filed against them by the government.
Jaman janchi okwan ta sarkar baile ina ora baile tower baije taikina ora bari tayar kat taikina te tower khada taikina en bechre kabut ठीक अबु बोगा बुरु टावरे नया बाइजी दा मेन जाची आले एन ओड़ा तैम तो आले कोड़ाम रापुट की दे आले केस के लिया केस के लिया जो एंड ना आलू तुम ओला करना इनको सोबन केसर को फंसे के लिया न तो आले 20 साल 25 साल आले लड़ाई ले ताई की.
One can witness the names of these brave men and women engraved on the Pathalgadi or the stone henge on the hilltop of Sukwan Buru. To this day, the Mundas heed prayers and sing songs in their memories. Long live the solidarity. The day is observed with great display of honor, brotherhood, accompanied with traditional songs and dances, locally made sweets, and now the entire setup has a touch of somewhat like a modern fair. People of all ages flock together and enjoy the kite flying in amicability. Each young boy or girl makes his or her own kite, and surprisingly, at many times they are almost equivalent to their height. The teachings and lessons of tribal way of life is manifested even in the kite flying. None of the kite flyers tries to bring down the kite of the other. They all fly independently and in harmony. A significance of coexistence, a display of live and let others live in peace and in harmony is very much evident in the entire Sukwan Buru celebration. We all can grow together in peace and with mutual respect. What more? Sukwan and Johar to all of you. Until the next year, after the 9 days of full moon in December, we meet again, year after year. Johar.